So, hello everybody. Thanks for joining me tonight here on Offlimits Show. We are talking tonight about racial inequity. We're going to talk about several things tonight. I've got several things that I want to discuss about this, and I want to hear from all of you tonight on the show as well. So I hope that you will call in during the show and let me know what your thoughts are on what we're discussing tonight. You can call in using Skype for free by using the Offlimits Show name, or you can call in using 214-377-0481 if you want to dial from your phone. Either way is fine, and I'm happy to certainly happy to hear you and hear what you have to say about everything. Hopefully, let's see here. Wait a second. Apparently, I've got something fucked up as usual on here. I'm hearing myself somewhere, and I don't know where I'm hearing myself from besides what I'm saying right now on the show. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Anyway, so if you want to call in, once again, the number is 214-377-0481. I'll take calls in about 10, 15 minutes into the show. But I certainly have a lot to say before that about this topic, and I'm sure all of you do as well. And, of course, it's a very volatile topic. A lot of people have issues discussing this. But I'm not really sure why, but it seems like race in America, is always a really touchy topic. And when it comes to discussing racial inequity in America, that is even more so sometimes, because some people will say, or a lot of people will say, well, minorities just need to get over it. This is not the slave days anymore, or we have laws passed now, they'll say, or it's not that way here anymore. But typically people who say this are themselves Caucasian or some group that's not oppressed racially. So it's easy, of course, for them to say that. It's easy for them to say these things when they are not someone who's subjected to it on a daily basis. And it does affect everybody's life. It doesn't just affect anyone who is subjected to oppression is without a doubt affected by it. Their lives are affected by it. And to say that they're not is just plain ignorant. Hold on. And so I think that it's very important that people realize that when people are talking about these issues, they're talking about them because they are things that affect their lives every single day, not something that just they can sometimes do and sometimes not do, or they can sometimes not be Black or Hispanic or Asian or otherwise. This is something that, people don't have a choice about. So I hope that people understand the distinction there and understand that, why I want to discuss racial inequity tonight on the show. When people have asked or have said even, people have asked a lot the question, do we now live in a post-racial society in America? And what we're going to talk about tonight will prove that no, we do not live in a post-racial society. Race is still today one of, if not the most divisive subjects among humanity, not just in America, but throughout the world. And it's unfortunately something that, as I just mentioned, people see completely differently. If you ask one person about race and they're like, oh, it's not a problem anymore, and someone else it is. So I hope that tonight we can have a discussion about it, and you guys will call in when I start to take calls in a few minutes, and we can actually, get your ideas and your impressions of what's happening in your life if you are a racial minority yourself, or if you're not, and how it affects you, and how things actually are. Oh, hey, by the way, hey, David, hey, Ken, thanks for joining me tonight there in the chat. And so hopefully we can discuss this from a very positive perspective. And this is the first Offlimits show I've had on Spreaker. I have Offlimits show all the time, but I have sort of different incarnations. I have the Brain Purge show, I have the other shows, whatever, Gay Mass, whatever. But this is the first Offlimits show I've had where I actually talk about a serious topic, and it's really all about that. And so hopefully it will go better on this network than it did on other ones. Like callers that I get aren't going to be all trolls, hopefully. So hopefully you'll call in. By the way, if you do call in during the show, and if you're listening now, and I'll say the magic secret word 2 or 3 times throughout the show, and when I begin to take calls, the first caller who who knows the word and wants a free T-shirt will get a free T-shirt sent to them if they want, whichever one you choose. I've got a couple in the shop if you're interested on offlimitsshow.com, which, by the way, you can hear the show live from there as well as chat there live, and also on Spreaker.com. I'm also on Facebook and Twitter and Stitcher.com. So I'm all over the place. By the way, the secret word is egalitarianism. So if you say egalitarianism to me and you're the first caller when I start to take calls, then you will win a free T-shirt. Free! Whatever size you need. Whatever size you need, David. So, no problem. Anyway, so that's what we're talking about tonight. Now, interestingly enough, yesterday we were celebrating 50 years since the I Have a Dream speech and the March on Washington. I think that oops, where we go? Here we go. That, 50 years later, how far have we come with racial equality in this country? How far have we come? Is it better today than it was during MLK's speech? Is it significantly better? Do people have equal opportunity in every respect? Are people looked at in the same way, whether you're white or black, or Hispanic or Asian, no matter who's doing the looking? Is racial equality real today in 2013, 50 years later? So that's the question I'm wanting to know. So I'm going to play real quick. It's 5 minutes long. It's the MLK I Have a Dream speech. And I want to, before we start talking about what we're talking about, I want to play that in honor of the 50 years anniversary of his March on Washington. And I also want to kind of lead from that into what we're talking about tonight. So 5 minutes, we'll be right back.
Freedom ring, and if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. And so let freedom ring from the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire. Let freedom ring from the mighty mountains of New York. Let freedom ring from the heightening Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let freedom ring from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let freedom ring from the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring, and when this happens, and when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last.
Test. Okay, hello everybody. Sorry about that. So sorry, what I had done, I wish somebody had told me that I had actually not, you couldn't hear anything, for God's sakes. I was playing it for 4 minutes and nobody said anything. Anyway, I forgot to turn the to push a button.